Hello everyone, and today in the news we are going to talk about how Morocco's tourism industry is growing, we're going to talk about how Erdogan is visiting Azerbaijan for the first time, and we're going to talk about how pregnant teens and expectant fathers in Burundi are being banned from attending school. Alright, so our first story comes from MoroccoWorldNews.com, and it says that the tourism in Morocco is growing exponentially. The number of tourists visiting Morocco has increased by 15% from the previous year. The cities that are seeing the biggest rise in tourism are Fez, Rabat, Tangier, Marrakesh, and Agadir. Most of the tourists are traveling from Italy, France, Germany, the Netherlands, the UK, and Spain, but we are also seeing a large influx of tourism from China and India. 43,000 Chinese tourists visited in 2016, 117,000 in 2017, and just 100,000 have visited so far in 2018. We've also seen tens of thousands of people from India traveling to Morocco as well. This is likely because Morocco is very cheap, so people from more impoverished nations can travel there without spending a whole lot of money. Morocco is also extremely close to Europe, only being about 3 hours away from the United Kingdom, so anyone who lives in a European country can travel a short distance and experience a completely different culture. Morocco's economy is also growing immensely due to the tourism. A few days ago, I talked about Morocco's bid for the 2030 World Cup and how it was likely infeasible and impractical due to the limited amount of large cities in the country. But if the tourism industry continues to grow at such a fast pace, maybe Morocco's dream of hosting the World Cup could be turned into a reality. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Our second story comes from HurriyetDailyNews.com, and it says that Erdogan is visiting Azerbaijan for the first time since taking office. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has visited Azerbaijan for the first time since being elected into office. The two countries discussed several things, such as bilateral ties, oil refineries, and the TANAP project, which is a trans-Anatolian natural gas pipeline that will economically benefit both countries. The two countries also discussed terrorism and how it could be mitigated in the future. They also discussed the specific role that would be taken on by each country, and they even discussed what America's role might be in mitigating terrorism in the future. Turkey seems to want to strengthen ties with some of its bordering countries, not just politically but also economically. This could lead to a higher amount of cultural and political output in the region, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Our last story comes from The Guardian, and it says that pregnant teens and expectant fathers in Burundi are being banned from attending school. Burundi is enforcing a ban on education for pregnant teens and expectant fathers. Many people in Burundi are complaining that this violates their basic human rights. The Ministry of Education in Burundi has stated that pregnant teens, young mothers, and expectant fathers will not be allowed to attend either public or private schools. They will instead be able to attend vocational or professional training. Many have criticized that this law is not easily enforced for men because they can easily deny being the father of someone's child. In fact, this law seems to only really affect women, especially impoverished women in Burundi, who will sometimes have sex in exchange for clothing, money, or other amenities. In fact, many of these pregnant teenagers had sex in exchange for certain amenities. They were forced into some sort of prostitution just so they could feed their families. And now, due to a lack of proper access to education, they will be forced into even more prostitution just so they can feed not only themselves, but also their starving children. Imposing this ban only drives women of Burundi further into a pit of poverty that they won't be able to climb out of. Without sufficient access to education, many of these pregnant teenagers will not be able to provide adequate care or receive an adequate amount of money to successfully support their child. Since Burundi is barring so many people from having access to education, it also seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot economically. It seems that many of the people who may be qualified for certain jobs in the future and who actually may be able to help Burundi grow and prosper economically are not going to have access to education or access to jobs. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.